Math Genie.
So let's look at an example problem from the 2019 Math Count Day Sprint Round. The sum of 6 consecutive integers, the least of which is 30, can also be written as the sum of 5 consecutive integers. What is the greatest of these 5 integers? So to solve this problem, let's look at the first part of the question that says the sum of 6 consecutive integers, the least of which is 30. And from this, by reading this part of the question, we can figure out that we first need to figure out the first 6 consecutive integers. And we know the smallest of these numbers is going to be 30. So if we just have 6 random consecutive integers, we already know what the first one or the smallest one is going to be. This right here, this number is going to be 30. And we know this by reading the question. So we don't have to plug in random numbers to see which one the question is looking for. We can already figure this out. And also, since the question says 6 consecutive integers, we know the rest of the numbers is going to be 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. Since consecutive just means following or succeeding numbers. So if you're still confused on what consecutive is, let me just give you a quick example. So an example of consecutive integers might be like 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is an example of 4 consecutive integers. And since it says integers, it can be other numbers too, like -5, -6, and -7. That is an example of 3 consecutive integers. So it can be any numbers that are basically back to back or side to side. So these 6 numbers are the numbers or the set of numbers that the question is actually looking for. So we already got one part of the question done. Let's look at the second part. It says that this can also be written as a sum of 5 consecutive integers. So the problem is saying here is the sum of these 6 integers are going to be equal to the sum of 5 new integers. So it's going to be some, we don't know yet what it is, but we already know that's going to be 5 integers, and they're going to be consecutive also. So the sum of these 6 integers are going to be equal to the sum of other 5 integers. So to basically find this equation, we need to first figure out what the sum of these 6 integers are going to be. And we can figure that out by 1. You could just add 30 plus 31 plus 32 and on until 35. Or you can use a formula that can save you time. And since this is a competition problem, these people are looking for, can these students use different methods and tricks and shortcuts to find the answers faster? So I'm going to be teaching you guys a trick that you guys can use that can help you get to the answer in a faster way. So to find the sum of 31 plus 32 and on all the way 35, you could, as I said, you could add all of these 6 numbers up, but that's going to be time consuming. So there is a shortcut that you can use. For any of these type of problems where you have to add a bunch of consecutive numbers, you can use something called Karl-Gauss's formula. And this formula basically states that n/2 times the first number plus the last number is going to be equal to the sum. And this is a formula that is going to be very, very useful when you have to find the sum of any consecutive numbers. So you don't have to sit there and just add all of these numbers up. And you might be wondering what the n means here. N, this is just talking about how many numbers there are in the set of numbers that you're trying to find the sum of. So in this case, if we use this formula, let's just plug in the numbers then. So let's just see. So 6 is going to be n, because there are 6 numbers in the set, over 2. What is the first number? 30. What is the last number? 35. So you just got to solve this, and that's a way shorter way to find the sum of the 6 integers. So this is going to be 30 plus 35. This is going to give you 3 times 65. And this is going to give you 195. So that is one way that you can find the sum. And this is a way shorter way to find the sum of the 6 consecutive integers. You could try adding 30 to 35 and you will get the same answer, which is 195. So now we know that right here, this is going to be 195. So 195 equals the sum of these 5 new set of integers. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you guys now how you can find these 5 new integers. So I'm just going to be deleting all of this since we do not need it anymore. So I'll just move that out of the way. And same thing over here. We don't need this. And we don't need these examples either because now we know what consecutive means. So now let's focus on this part of the question that's talking about these 5 new integers that we don't know what is yet, but we're going to figure out what those are. So let's first look at this, and it says that these numbers are going to have the sum of 195. But wait, what is these 5 new integers in the first place? So to solve any of these consecutive integer problems, the most basic way that you can use is to say that the first number is going to be x or any variable. Second number is going to be x plus 1. Third one, x plus 2. It's going to be x plus 3 and x plus 4. Why do I use this formula? Why do you use x plus 1, and x plus 2? Because as I said, these are consecutive integers, which means that they are going to be exactly one number apart from each other. So, for example, if we go back to our example with the 1, 2, and 3, and 4, we know that 2, which is the second number in the solution, is going to be equal to 1 plus 1. What is 3? The previous number, or you can actually just use 1 plus 2. What is 4? 1 plus 3. So you're adding 1, and you just keep on adding 1, 2, and 3. So this formula, this way, this is an example how this formula works. You're just going to use that for these two. So you're just going to say x is the smallest number, and then you do x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, and x plus 4. So that's going to represent all of these numbers. So we know that 195 is going to be equal to x plus 1 plus x plus 2 plus x plus 3 plus x plus 4. So if we simplify this, we get 195. We can group all of the like terms, so we can group the x's by each other, so we'll get 5x. And then we can group the numbers together, so that's going to be 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10. So we'll get this. We move 10 to the side. We'll get 185 is equal to 5x. And if we divide 5 on both sides, we're going to get 37. So x is going to be 37. So we have what x is equal to. And we know that x in this case represents the smallest of the 5 integers. So we know that x is going to be 37. And since the question is asking for the greatest of the 5 integers, you'll do x plus 4. Since x plus 4 is the greatest of the 5 integers. So x plus 4 is going to be equal to 37 plus 4, which equals 41. So you can just do 41. And this is a very, very important process when solving any consecutive integer problem. the most important part of solving these type of equations is to know that you have to set up the integers, the unknown integers, in this way by using a variable x and by adding 1, 2, 3, and on for the following numbers.
Math Genie.